Now, one thing really stuck in my craw about this debate on whether the Morrison government did enough to stop China making a security deal with the Solomon Islands, which is serious stuff. I mean, there's a possible Chinese military base, maybe going to be built one day, 2,000 kilometres from our coast. But this is how Labor yesterday belted the government by mocking the ethnic name of the minister that the government had sent to those islands 2 weeks ago to talk to their strangely prickly Prime Minister and ask why on earth he was doing this. It's our Minister for the Pacific, Zed Seselja. And this was clearly a coordinated mockery of his name by Labor.
And they send some bloke called Zed. Who's Zed? Is this pulp fiction or national security?
Australia's response was not to send any serious delegation. They sent Senator Zed Seselja. Every time I hear Zed, I just think about Pulp Fiction.
Ho, 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 there's a character in Pulp Fiction called Zed. Well, that insult was then retweeted by another Labor MP, Josh Burns. Who's Zed? With the link to Jason Clare's so-called joke about the name. Well, joining me is Senator Zed Seselja. Zed Seselja, thanks for your time. Labor obviously coordinated this to make fun of your name. You had Anthony Albanese and Jason Clare both telling the same lame joke about your Croatian name. I'm just wondering, did you find that offensive? I mean, do they make jokes about names like Wong as well and Chow? I mean, where does this stop?
Well, look, Andrew, it's a fair point. I thought it was pretty low rent. I thought it was clearly coordinated, and they thought it was funny or something, and I don't know exactly who they were playing to. But I mean, those of us who have grown up, you know, being called Wog and have funny names, as I do, Zdenko Seselja, and it's been shortened to Zed. You know, unfortunately, you're probably pretty used to that in the schoolyard. But you know, in political debate, I took it as a sign that all of the other arguments they'd made in the space had completely fallen flat. I mean, they made the argument about aid. We demonstrated we've significantly upped our aid to the Pacific. They talked about climate change. Well, the deal is with the world's largest emitter, and then they decided instead to focus on me and focus on my name being a bit different. But you'd have to say, Andrew, that if my name was Dave or Steve, they wouldn't have made the same joke, and certainly wouldn't have, you know, been asking those questions. And I think if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was Liberals talking about Labor MPs and doing it in relation to their ethnic names, I suspect they would be expressing a fair degree of outrage. So yeah, pretty low rent stuff. What we've come to expect from the Labor Party, particularly when they're out of answers on policy.
Yeah, the first to scream racist and the first to act it, it seems to me. And the media generally has been ignoring that, this element of it, because, well, you're the target and it's not a Liberal actually the perpetrator.